which is just very small increments raise the boost by the duty cycle. Since this is a new turbo, we're not sure how it's going to react to the boost controller and how the engine's going to react to it. We want to make sure that we have nice baseline stuff for when we're at the track. We know exactly how much duty cycle is going to come out and how much boost. So as of right now, we've been doing small increments, and so far it's made 577 horsepower with 390 foot-pounds of torque at roughly 21 pounds of boost, which is pretty nice. And we're gonna go ahead and run this up a little bit more and see where we can get to. I think today we might stop around 800, maybe 850, which is what we've made in the past, but I'm curious to see how it'll do with a more efficient turbo. So we're gonna keep on playing, do a couple more hits, and do a little refinement over here and go from there. We're gonna add a little more fuel in some of these sections and go over a few other things. Just right off the bat, on that middle of that last pool, we were around 32 pounds of boost. That was 733 horsepower. We have the smoothing 100% off on the dyno graph, so we can kind of see where things are landing. I let off a little earlier, that's why you see the graph on the blue top graph. It comes down around 8,500 RPM. So Peter saw that the O2 correction was kind of doing its thing, so we let off quickly, and we're gonna adjust the tune based on what we saw. But man, some really promising stuff. 733 horsepower. That is really good. That's just really good. Peter's leaving the shot. Guys, we're taking a break from the dyno stuff. Peter's right there. Wow, Sean is here too.
My man, Sean.
Sean, get in the camera, Sean. Sean's hanging out too. Put your head down because you're super tall. We're taking a quick break from the dyno stuff. This is Sean right here. We're taking a quick break from the dyno stuff because as we were doing different pools, we noticed that the fuel pressure was incrementally dropping with the increase of boost after we started hitting around 30 pounds of boost. The car was doing well, everything sounded very healthy. For the time being, the car actually came off of the dyno, but there was also a little service that needed to be done to the dog box transmission before the season started. Out of all these important parts, probably the most important that we're doing are these new billet forks by Speed Factory. This is the 1-2 fork, and then this right here is their 3-4 fork. These are billet, so they won't bend like the OEM forks do. Because of bending and because of other problems we had in the past, second gear inside of this transmission has started to round off the dog gears. And because of that, we ordered a replacement second gear and a 1-2 slider from G-Force. We're still rocking the G-Force transmission. It's been good to us, but we need to get some replacement parts in there before we start racing. You guys might have noticed on the initial dyno hits when we were rolling into second, well, rolling into third for the pools, but when we're driving in second, if you let off throttle, sometimes it'll pop it out of gear. This is gonna eliminate that problem. It's gonna retain it and it won't pop it out. We're gonna go ahead and start tearing into this transmission. Just a quick little breakdown, pull gear stacks out, install that new second gear, and while everything is apart, then we can go ahead and install these new Speed Factory billet forks as well. So let's tear into it. Fine, but I don't know. Oh, there's no third gear. I'm just kidding. Imagine that, like we come here to replace one thing and it's like everything is messed up.
Pieces.
Right. There's pieces of second in here. That's fine. There it is, brother.
2.5 hours.
Who's got so much hair? I keep on seeing hair. I should have just put it in its regular spot, but I didn't want it to be hard to get out later. Okay, so here we have the replacements. It has less teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. 6 versus 8 teeth.
Really?
Yeah.
V3.
This might be a problem. Like, first gear is...
Oh, is first gear still an 8?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Definitely not good. This blows.
That sucks.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, we're skipping forward a couple days actually. Unfortunately, we didn't have the first gear to go along with the second gear change, and we lost out on a couple days, but it is what it is. Also, I was doing a little explanation on OEM gears versus aftermarket gears and OEM forks versus aftermarket forks. Check that out on Instagram. It's a little informative tip for those wanting to learn more, so I think you guys would enjoy that. What's going on?
What's going on, buddy? You filming?
Yeah, I can pause real quick.
No, leave it on, leave it on.
Oh, Chris Crone, y'all know him.
What's up?
What's going on? How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. I heard some voices. I'm like, who the hell is here?
Yeah.
Where put my rag?
I just picked Tail right from the airport.
What's up, dude? How you doing? I heard you were spending 2 weeks here,
Yeah,
right?
yes, yeah.
That's cool, dude. This right here is an OEM 5th and reverse shift fork. This is the OEM 3/4 shift fork. I have the 1/2 right over here. These are all OEM normal forks that you could get out of any transmission. I believe they discontinued the 1/2 and 3/4. So for racing, it's not really great because you can't pick up a new set. And even if you could, they are basically a wear item in these aftermarket transmissions because they bend. They're not a great material. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are highly banged gears, you want to have like a stronger material. So we have these Speed Factory forks. These are their brand new billet forks for Honda B-Series front wheel drive. And they've had a billet fork, I believe, for the all-wheel drive 1/2 for a while. This right here is a much newer product. So we're super happy to try these out. And this right here is the 3/4 fork. And like I said, the 1/2. So basically what this is gonna do, it's gonna ride here on the OEM sliders, but in this case, the aftermarket G-force sliders for both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Still gonna utilize the OEM 5th and reverse, since the 5th just kind of hangs out on this top bearing and the reverse one only engages reverse. You're not doing that under load or anything, but it still uses the OEM configuration of how the forks actually meet up to one another. So if I can spin this towards the camera, you guys can see a little bit better right there. They are all lined up to go into the trans as like a normal transmission would. So it's kind of clunky to see right here. Once it's in the trans case, I'll do a better job of showing you guys real quick. But yeah, let me put the camera back and I'll go ahead and set this inside of the gear case. Before we do that, I'm gonna put a little bit of automatic transmission fluid on the bottom of the shift forks and where they sit in. This is a very, very light oil that you can use for assembly. Just makes things a lot easier and keeps the parts all friendly together when installing this kind of stuff. And of course, wouldn't be a SB tuning video if I didn't drop stuff. Okay, put that right there. And it makes sure that the forks can slide nice and easy. All right, cool. So we're pretty much done with putting the gear stack and the shift forks into the transmission. A quick recap, this is a G-force transmission gear set. If you guys aren't already familiar with the components that we were running, the bell housing is also a Speed Factory billet bell housing. The OEM ones tend to crack, especially when you make more power plus a dog box gear set. So that really helped us last year with the race program to be more consistent. And now we have some upgraded shift forks as well to make sure that we have a whole bunch of real nice positive shifts for this whole season. It is super tight. It's smooth when you have like perfect up and down motion for it, but like there is no play within the sliders to the fork, and you can just look at it. It's a much beefier unit than like the OEM stuff. It's just so freaking nice. The OEM stuff is fine. It works for a street car. I mean, it's what Honda intended to run for forever, but this is just gonna be so much better. It's gonna elevate our racing so much more, and we're just super stoked to be able to do that. Here we have that last graph, made 810 horsepower once we added the smoothing effect, made 524 foot-pounds of torque. Super, super awesome torque right there. And you can see our power band is super wide. So we'll eventually have the car leaving around here, a little over 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, somewhere within this window. And then we'll be towards peak power, almost off rip if we wanted to. That was around 40 pounds of boost on the last couple rips, which is really close to what the car had previously made on a similar boost with the old turbo. So we're gonna overlay the old turbo's graph, and I wanna show you guys something here in the mid-range, which I found really, really intriguing. So here's a really good comparison of an old graph. Right there, I made 814 on a previous setup, and then this time I made 810. But what's really interesting is the mid-range. So the red one was at 814 peak horsepower, and it was nearly at the same boost, just a different turbocharger. And we see at the very top, those lines are pretty much a layover. The torque is also actually really close as well, and the peak horsepower is damn near the same, just a hair off. 4 horsepower, that's pretty much negligible. That's the difference between maybe a couple degrees in your oil temperature. It's really, we could pretend that that's the same number for all intensive purposes. What's really important is this center section right here. You guys can see that the turbo for the blue line, that's that next gen precision turbo, it comes on a lot sooner, it stays lit, it makes the peak power or the peak torque a lot sooner, and it has a lot more horsepower in that mid-range way before the previous turbocharger. So right there, I think that that is an absolute win. You can see right there the red, like I said, that was the previous setup, and then this is the new turbocharger way earlier in the power band. So although this is mainly a track car, if we were cruising this, for example, that center RPM section, even as early as around 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, is already going to be a very notable difference in drivability and a whole bunch more on peak horsepower and peak torque. So some pretty cool stuff to keep in mind. Oh, and like I said, the horsepower is very close, but we did make more torque, so with the new turbo, so that's really awesome as well. 524 foot-pounds of torque versus the old 518 foot-pounds of torque. And this is still with the turbo, not at its max efficiency range. We did 40 pounds of boost. It was about 39, but 40 pounds for all intensive purposes, and only had about 25 pounds of back pressure, which typically you'll still have efficiency in a turbocharger up until roughly 1-to-1 pressure ratio from boost to back pressure, and we're still within a range that I feel comfortable to keep on pushing more. All things considered, I'm super happy with that, how that turbo is functioning, and we're still within a pressure ratio that I feel comfortable to push it a little more down the line and make some more power. But we first need to address the battery voltage thing. Before we actually start diving into peak horsepower, we're obviously going to re-dyno it soon. We want to get all the voltage stuff dialed in, maybe go out to the track, do some test hits, get some baseline running. I've never really raced it at over 800 horsepower, so this right here, what was the old power graph at 814 horsepower, it was basically with everything turned up all the way. And there was another graph where I had made more power in La Fea. I don't know why this is out of focus all the time, but I had made more power. I can't find that graph anywhere in our system. I'm not sure what. It was, I think like 30 horsepower more or so, but that was with everything tilted, and I never ran the car more than around 35 pounds of boost or 34 pounds of boost at the track, and we still went a 930 at 155, the highest mile an hour. So if I run it just right off the gate at this horsepower, it's gonna be a whole new car. I can't wait for it to happen. This is just gonna be awesome. So Gabby has his Civic on the dyno. What do you think it's gonna make?
350.
Huh?
350.
350? What about you?
360.
And you?
375.
Damn, that's crazy.
And you?
I think it's gonna be around mid to high 300s. Carlos on the keyboard over there. My camera's all out of focus. Hi, Poppy. And the woman, my wife. Pretty cool setup. This is single cam, obviously. It's got a Speed Factory long rod, YCP pistons, precision turbo. The wife bringing us, ooh, the kombucha. She got cookies for the kids.
Said he's not drinking soda, but I got him a
For who?
shirt
For Carlos?
Yeah.
A ver si quiere.
It's not a half.
It's on 22 pounds. 22. God damn.
Otra para mí?
No, para quien se lo see.
Oh, this is mine now. Get out of
And
here.
then this.
All right, little name change because that was more than 14 pounds. I think that was, all right, there we go, 22, very nice. Very nice, very nice.
Joey, I told you 100 more.
100 more horsepower?
Yeah.
That's it.
Damn,
That's
Mike
nice
was
right there.
Like I was right.
I did a little rip in it right now. Now this is gonna be his first drive. It sounds so good. Woo! You happy?
Yeah.
Feels nice?
Yeah. We got.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so happy for you.